Alright, what's going on, guys? Let's try back again and bring another video. So this time we're doing a commentary review on Nick Diaz's post-fight interview after beating BJ Penn. I'll put a link in the description if you actually want to watch it, so you can go and check it out and then come on back here and discuss it with us and listen to my review of it. So this was one of the funniest post-fight interviews ever, and just post-fight anything ever. You know, rivaling that of Chael Sonnen's last month and all the nonsense that he said, Nick Diaz. So let's get started. First off, after the fight's over, okay, before they've even announced the winner, Nick Diaz is going around and he's saying, "I won that shit," just like that. Like, "I won that shit," and he's getting in the face of BJ's, like training partners and. Cornerman, and just saying over and over and over again, put his hands up saying he won that shit. It's almost like he assumed that he would be, he would lose it in a decision because he thinks everything is so corrupt and everything is so screwy. But he clearly won this fight. He beat BJ pretty bad, just by using his cardio, by using his, just his reach and his boxing. He got beat pretty bad in the first round, but then he came back. I scored it, BJ 10-9 in the first round, second round 10-8 for Diaz, and then the third round 10-9 for Diaz. So 29-27 for Diaz. The judges got it right, no question about it. That was the right call. Diaz did win this fight. So, and then he starts talking about George, and I forget the first question Joe Rogan asked him, but first question he doesn't even answer it. and then after he starts asking a little, he can tell he doesn't want to answer, so he starts asking about George and what he was saying, and he's basically saying that he thinks that George is scared and this kind of stuff and all that. You know how Nick Diaz is, so comes off as the bad guy and that kind of stuff. He even says it himself that he does. So I mean, this was just pretty funny to watch and to hear Nick Diaz go off like this, and. But it turns out that Dana White has said in the post-fight in the press conference that Nick Diaz will actually get the next shot at George St. Pierre. It won't be Carlos Condit, and I'm kind of happy about that because I don't want to see George against Carlos Condit, at least not yet. I want to see Nick Diaz against George and see what Diaz can do, because the thing about Diaz is his cardio is stellar, man. I mean, a 5-round fight with him is a long time to be in there with Diaz. I don't care who you are. I don't care if you are George St. Pierre. George St. Pierre carries around quite a bit more muscle than Diaz does. And muscle needs oxygen, basically. And Diaz, he's got cardio for days, man. He doesn't carry around as much muscle as a lot of these other guys do, which is why in the first round, a lot of times he might get muscled around a little bit, or he might get, like BJ put it on him pretty good. But then, once you get into the second and third round, he starts, the pace he puts on these guys, they can't keep up. The thing with George, though, is that George can just take him down and keep him there, and I mean that doesn't take a lot of energy to take a guy down and then just lay on top of him, so he may be able to kind of even it up that way. If George is on top the whole time, Diaz can have the best cardio in the world, but George doesn't have to work that hard once he's on top. Diaz on the bottom, usually, the guy on the bottom has to work harder. So I guess we'll see how it plays out. It should be an interesting fight on a Super Bowl weekend, but definitely if you guys haven't seen this, go check this out. Nick Diaz is just absolutely ridiculous. In addition to that, check out his in the press conference, some of the stuff he says. I mean, this guy is totally ridiculous. I almost think it's not even an act. Like, that's just the